All right, story time. Y'all saw that little buck and the little 3-point and little 8-point chasing the does around. That went on for about 15 minutes, and it was getting too dark to film. I had my camera out. They went to the other end of the field. When the wind kind of changed, they all went to the other end, and so it started getting too dark to really film. The camera has trouble focusing when it starts to get low light, especially when you're trying to zoom in. So I put my camera up, zipped my bag up. I looked over my shoulder, and I saw the biggest buck I've ever seen in my life on the hoof. And when I saw him, I was like, I didn't have to look through the scope. I knew that's a deer, the kind of deer you only kill once in your life, you know, living in my part of the country. So I immediately got the gun up. It was about 150 yards. It's a little far for the muzzleloader for me and my muzzleloader. And it was starting to get late, and he just kept walking to me and walking to me and walking to me, and he got to 100 yards. And at 100 yards, I said, all right, you can make this shot. I was rock solid. I was steady. I got the crosshairs on the shoulder. I started squeezing the trigger. Click. Cap didn't go off. But the buck was working a scrape, and so he didn't hear the click. So I quickly bolted my Remington 700 muzzleloader. When I bolted it, he didn't hear that either, because he had his horns in the limbs, and I was like, praise the Lord. So I was going to try a second shot, and he turned and started walking to me again. Now he's about 85 yards. The wind was blowing in my face, and it kind of started swirling around, and I thought, hey, look, it's shoot now or forever hold your peace, you know, because if the wind changes, this is all over, and you may never see a buck like this the rest of your life. So I didn't know if the cap would go off on the second try. So I got solid. The buck was working a scrape. He had his head up in the trees. I put the crosshairs right about where his shoulder was. I said, right there, just start easing that. Started squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Boom. Of course, you can't see nothing with the muzzleloader. Smoke everywhere. The buck runs down the edge of the timber, kind of angling to me, turned and went in. So I gave him about 30 minutes. I walked down here. I couldn't find any blood. I couldn't find any blood. I couldn't find any blood. I wasn't sure I hit him. But I knew that it's real thick right here. But I knew if I got down in here, I could see a little bit. So I thought, well, just ease into the woods and start looking. And I saw belly with my flashlight. This was the only flashlight I had on me, and I could see belly. And I said, I think that's a deer's belly looking there. And I kept, you know, I didn't want to move up on it until I was sure it was dead. I wanted to make sure. So I leaned around, and I could get around the tree, and I could see an eyeball. And I was like, that's a deer's belly for sure, because I can see his eye. And it was about 15 yards. So I eased a little further, and I just watched, and there was no movement, and he's dead. So I walked down there. I kicked him. I made sure he wasn't going to get up, that he was for sure dead. Then I came back and got the buggy and got you with the camera, so let's go look at him. I wish I had a better light to show him to you with, but it is what it is. I'll put some better pictures in here. The preacher has never seen a buck like this in his life. There's our exit hole. Huh? It's a big old deer too, big bodied deer. Now, I don't know what you can see right there, but I haven't even counted all the points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think that one's quite an inch. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not quite an inch. I'm going to call this thing, I'm going to call him a 12 point. He's basically a 10 point, but he's got matching kickers on the back and eye guards like I've never seen in my life. Those have to be 8 or 9 inches long. Mass. all my hard work, brush hogging, stand building, it all pays off right here. Buck like this, probably never top it in my lifetime. We would have been tickled with a deer half this big. Sorry I wasn't able to get it on camera. I just put my camera up, but I'm glad I got it, and I wouldn't change a thing. Now I know some of you people, probably that work for the Arkansas Game and Fish, are going to say, did he tag that deer? Because I don't see a tag on his horns. Well, I don't put a tag on their horns because I don't like the tag in my picture. But I always put a tag right here on the back leg. Right there. My tag is just inside that tender, wrapped up inside that tendon.